Hi guys, this is Jean-Marc again with part number 4 of the 5-part easy lighting and rendering in Fusion 360. Today it's glass and liquid. So I have created, I have modeled in the 3D glass form, which is I don't recommend creating or even trying to drink in that, but that form allows me to show you really the reflection and refraction of light in glass. And this body here in the middle is representing in fact the liquid contained inside the glass. So here is the glass, here is the liquid, and here is the table on which we're going to put it later on. It's just a simple extruded body like a plank or a tabletop. So we're going to get back to the home position. There you go. We can record this view, create right click, new name view. Let's create a close up. Enter. Now we can switch to, let me turn off the table for the moment. We can switch to render. So here I have applied two materials, original Fusion materials. The first one is a clear glass that I have applied, trying to get out from here, yeah. Clear glass that I have applied on the glass, right here. And the other one is water, which is also a standard liquid material. And I've been using water, wavy C, and put it here, and then use the in-canvas render. As you can see, the water is really clear. This is why I had created water that let less light pass through. This is what is called a wavy C 20 millimeters. So I'm going to open that material, that liquid material right now. So I double click on it, and you can see here the absorption distance. Absorption distance is important. 144 millimeter is clear water, clear transparent water, and the refractive index is 1.333. Now if I'm lowering it to 20 millimeters, means that the light passing through the liquid gonna be stopped after 20 millimeter and refract light. So it travels only 20 millimeters, which is roughly a bit less than an inch inside the liquid, and then reflects light. This is why you start to see some kind of a bluish refraction, because as you can see here, the material itself is turquoise color, pretty dark, and if I'm lowering that absorption distance, the liquid is going to become darker and darker. Look here, 10 millimeters, as you can see, it's coming much darker. And if I'm going crazy and 0.1 millimeter, here is what you get. It's almost completely dark. You still can see some light going through here. We're gonna let it render a little bit so you can see it better. So you can see some light is still passing through here, but barely. So I'm going to reopen that material. I'm going to put 1 millimeter absorption, so you can see we see more light getting through. And I'm going to put it back to 20 millimeter, which gives me a bluish colored liquid, still pretty transparent and clear. So that's enough. Now for my scene setup. As usual, I'm running 1750. The environment is a cool light. You can use any settings you like. You can play around with light, with the position of the light, of course. This is what I explained in the previous videos. I'm leaving a ground plane. I have flattened the ground. I have reflections. The roughness is 0.2. I can lower it so we get more mirror effect below the glass. The camera is perspective. The focal length is 104 millimeter. The exposure is 9.5 EV, and I'm not using any depth of field. It's 16:9 widescreen. So I can close it. So I already rendered that image before. So I'm going to show you first the glass without any liquid in it, which is this. This is low resolution clear glass, no water. This is a higher resolution rendering of the clear glass alone, no water at all. This one, we're going to see it now. I'm going to show you how to change the color of the glass material. So it's pretty easy. Switch back to Fusion. If I'm coming here into my material, I can either choose an existing glass material from Fusion 360, or I can create my own. Since I already have the clear glass, let me double click on it. Let me turn it to yellow. Have a look at it. And there you have it, yellow glass. Of course, you also have an absorption of the light. If you want to make it more opaque, let's bring it down to 20 millimeter. This is more opaque. This is still clear glass, but the light travels in a shorter distance through the material. If I'm going down to 1 millimeter, as you can see, it's getting pretty dark. It's pretty opaque. Less light is going through the material. Okay, so let's put it back to 50 millimeter, which is the standard clear glass material. I can switch to another color here. I can use another one here. Let me go this way. I can go crazy with purple if I like. So that's the principle behind it. Okay, so let me reapply the clear glass. Let me go back here into glass, clear glass, switch back. Whenever you do modification, let's say you want to go that purple glass we just created, you find it awesome, 20 millimeters, and that one you want to apply it to the material. Say, hey, that's cool, I want to keep it. Okay, double click on it, change its name, clear purple, done. You right click on it and select, let me move it up here, and select copy to my appearances. If you go to my appearances, into the glass section, I have the new glass I just created. This is pretty important because most of the time when you're a beginner, you tend to create really cool materials, and when you get back to it in another model, you say, oh wait, let me reopen that old model, and which model I used that, I don't remember it. Give it a clear name so it's understandable for you, and just put it in my appearance. So right here, right click, copy to my appearance. Okay, you want to unassign the material, you right click, unassign and delete, for example. But it's still here in my appearances. So I'm going back to my clear glass with the liquid inside. So we just saw changing the color of the glass material, or plastic, or whatever clear material you want to use. This is a higher resolution. And this is our clear glass with water, which is the one we currently work on right now. This is this one. You see, it's clear glass with some water that I render bluish by reducing the distance the light travels through the material, the absorption distance. And this is the one in high resolution. So for the object that represents the water, I did a quick combine and cut with the glass. It's not the ideal to get a proper fit, but this is just for demonstration purpose. Okay, next, opaque and texture glass. How to create texture with glass or with any material for the matter. When you want to create that kind of glass, you're going to be using, if I'm going here into the clear glass and I'm clicking on advanced, I have here a relief pattern, a bump. I click on it and I activate it. it's going to ask me to look for an image. So in my materials, I have some black and white maps. I can use any one basically, but I don't want something too crazy. Yes, let's use this one. You have to understand that in those maps, white is the higher point, black is the lowest point in any bump. So I can edit this image. I can come in here. I recommend link texture transforms, which means that when you're going to use the texture transform by a right click, that map is going to be modified as well. So you have a few settings like here. The sample size is always an inch, which is 25.4 millimeters. So it's roughly a square inch. You want to tile it vertical and horizontal, and it's asking you here if it's a height map or a normal map. What's the difference between the height map or a normal map? A height map is a white and black JPEG or PNG image that you want to use to create that bump, and a normal map is another kind of image. I'm gonna pick one for you so you can see it. Let's change the image. Okay, click on the name of the image. If you look into materials, I have here, for example, let me use pavement, cobblestones. You have here in texture websites you have normal maps. This is a normal map. This is it looks purplish, but as you can see, it has some bump pattern on it. These are much more precise. They create more realistic bump images. And also the thing is that you can heighten the bump, the height of the bump. It says here, adjust the relative depth of the bump pattern. Leave to 1 to use the exact amount defined by the normal map, but you can go crazy. Let's go 1.5. Let's click done. Let's click apply. And if we come here onto the model, I'm gonna let it okay, as you can see here, if you get closer without any rendering, you can see the pattern we just saw inside the bump image, the normal map. You can see it here. See? Pretty cool, huh? I have used before another bump map, and I have rendered the image, which is this one. This is a low resolution image. This is high resolution image. And if you look here at the material, you can see the quality of the bump. This is not a fake bump. It does reflect light in different ways because it's really a bumpy material, and I have my liquid material inside. So basically, by using the bump or height map and using what you call a normal map, you can have really high quality material. This has nothing to do, this has nothing to compare with professional softwares like Octane, Corona, 3ds Max, but for a software that was designed to create things, you can achieve pretty good results, as you can see with Fusion 360, once you get a hold of modifying its original materials. Okay, you're gonna ask me, where do I find those great normal maps for my materials? Where one site I'm using, I'm not endorsed by them in any way, is textures.com. I'm gonna put the address in the comment section below. Textures.com, pretty obvious. Then you go down to PBR Materials, and then you can choose any of those materials, like let's say concrete. It's gonna display a list of materials for you, so you can see the aspects of the material. You can click on the material itself. And for Fusion 360, you don't need to use a very high resolution normal map. As you can see, the normal map is right there. and it says here this is normal map, 16-bit TIFF seamless. You can use either the small or the medium, which are free, by the way, so you can download it. Put it wherever you want. I'm going to put it on my desktop. Save it. And then once you are in Fusion 360, like we saw earlier, you just have to come here into your materials. Pick the base material you want to use. Let's use that material and put it here. Cancel. Yeah, let's apply it to body line. Yeah. Okay, we have blue glass. Let's apply some texture to it. So we go to Advanced. Relief pattern, the bump. I'm gonna choose here on my desktop the texture I just downloaded, which is a normal map, which is that purplish picture. I'm going to edit the image, check that the pattern looks the way I like it, link the texture. This is a normal map. It's important to say that it's a normal map so the software knows how to treat the light that's going to be refracted. I click done, I click apply, and then if I'm coming here closer to the material, you can see the texture has been applied, and you can see that the light is refracted on the higher part of the texture much stronger than in the lowest part of the texture, like any real textured material would do in real life. So this is how you find textures. Don't forget to go into the settings of the material, advance, edit the image, and don't forget here at the bottom to mention that it's a normal map when you're using a normal map. Otherwise you can use height map, then you use any PNG or JPEG file that has white and black, and it can become a texture file. That's not a problem. Okay, as you can see here, it's a pretty neat texture. I might keep it for later. Okay, let's keep it. Let me rename it. Glass window blue with grooves. Done. Here, copy to my appearances. Next time I need it, it's just right there. Close. Okay, now what about liquids? Let's create some wine, would you? So we're gonna come here, select the body that's representing the liquid, click on appearance, and here we have the water, wavy C, the wine red, and the wavy C 20 millimeters. This is the one I'm currently using. I'm going to transform that into a red wine. I already have that red wine material created, but I'm going to do the procedure for you. So I'm double clicking on the material, and the first thing I'm going to do is modify its color. Wine closer to red, and somewhere around here. Okay, modify the absorption like we saw earlier. I'm going to put it down to 5 millimeters. 1.333, it's liquid refractive index. There are, if you Google it, IOR or index of refraction maps, you will find it on the internet. There are tables and tables of different refractive indexes that will give you the exact index of any transparent material. But you also have here from Autodesk the air, the water, the alcohol, the quartz, the glass, the diamond. If I'm selecting diamond, which is 2.4, I can select glass, which is 1.5. I can select quartz. I can select water, which is what I'm using right now. It's a liquid. Okay, so 1.3 should be fine, or 1.333. I selected the color, close to the color of the wine, and I'll say done. Now if I render this. It's pretty clear. I mean, it's not really what I was expecting. So let me modify it again. No, it's not the right one. Okay, here's the one. Let me bring it down to a millimeter. Already you can see with 1 millimeter, that wine looks much better already. Let me try 0.5 millimeter. Sorry, 0.5. That's getting much better. 0.2. Yeah, I think I have my red wine right here. So I already have rendered that image earlier. So here it is in lower resolution. Oh, by the way, when you're using clear textured glass, I would recommend modifying the background of your environment so it's a bit darker. You have more contrast with any clear material that is textured like this. As you can see, compared to this, it's easier to see how the material is textured and all that. Okay, here is my red wine in low resolution, and here is my red wine in high resolution. And we put it on the table. So here is the wine, and here is the liquid we are working on. So this is exactly what you get. So you only have to pick up any liquid inside Autodesk Fusion 360. Any liquid that is here. You can use just water clear if you like. And then starting from water clear, double click on it, get closer to red, pick the color of wine, darker wine, reduce the absorption distance to 0.2 or 0.1. Let's lighten up the color a little bit so it's more realistic. 0.2 should be fine. Go up to 0.5 if you want something clearer. And that's it. You got your wine. Now if I want to have some coffee, here is coffee that I created yesterday with the same principles. For the coffee I use a brown, dark brown color, as you can see here. And I reduce the absorption distance to 0.140, and that's it. Nothing else. So it's pretty basic and pretty easy. And this is how it looks. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to design, add up my table. To that table I applied a material, which is here. This is a material coming straight from Autodesk, which is the bottom of the list. Wood solid, which is a 3D material. Finished, and I used mahogany semi-gloss, which is here. So when you have a look at it, here is my coffee on the table. So then you can play around, of course, with your lighting setup, add more light, change the environment, pick an existing environment like this one. You will see that it changes everything. Could use the plaza. Which is something else altogether. Then play around with the position of the light. But personally I like to have my coffee or my wine for the matter, in a quaint place, so I chose an indoor environment map. And HDRI, I'm gonna put the website address in the comment section below so you can download free HDRIs as well. I'm gonna use okay, this one. Alright. And there you go, the ambience is totally different. I'm gonna add up some more light. Not too much, because you want to keep some contrast. And contrast comes from the difference between the dark and light part of the picture. So here is my environment. It's rendering. Of course, I'm not going to make you wait for that, so I'm going to show you the result here. Here is my glass of wine on the table, and here is my glass of wine on the table in a nice setting, indoor setting. So starting from that, you can work your own way through textures, through the progression of light inside the material that we saw earlier. So if I would emphasize on one aspect of the clear materials, is that here the absorption distance is the most important part of it. Absorption distance is going to make all the difference between a good, realistic, clear material and a non-realistic material. Okay, so remember, that distance is going to give you a material that's going to refract light earlier, so appear less transparent, or later with a longer distance traveled by the light, so that material is going to appear much clearer, much more transparent. So that's important. It's important for the liquids as well. If I'm coming here into the water, you can see I have an absorption distance of 20 millimeters that I decide by my own. For the coffee, I've been using a distance of 0.14 because I need something that light doesn't travel too far in it. So this is different. So this is the most important, after the color of your liquid, this is the most important, and this is what you need to play with to achieve the right results. Okay, so I hope all of this helped you guys. So I'm going through the renderings one more time. This is my wine on the table with a simple studio setup. This is my wine in the studio in high resolution. This is my textured glass with a contrast background to see the texture of the glass. This is on a regular studio background in high resolution. This is low resolution. This is my clear glass with some water in it in high resolution. This is the low resolution. Remember, I always do low resolution, web 800 by 600 because it's the fastest. This is colorized glass with index of refraction that is much shorter. This one is 10 millimeter. That's why it's less clear than clear glass. This is the low resolution render. This is the clear glass in high resolution rendering. And this is the low resolution rendering. I hope all of this helps you in some way and any way. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate. Leave a comment or question in the section below. Thanks and have a great day.